after that to prepare for a pro career.
Which we about to get into next. So can you kind of just start off? I know you actually went to a couple places, you know what I'm saying, in hoops. So can you kind of speak to a couple of places you hooped at and just like what that experience is like? Because I feel like a lot of people take for granted how up and down the overseas market and the job really are. Like, it looks like all glitz and glam when it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just go overseas and get the bag. But when you start talking to these players and it's like, man, this team ain't really even giving me all my bread, or this team paying me late, or this team not paying me at all, or I came here and they said I was gonna have a crib and a car and I'm living in a studio with nothing. Like, so can you just kind of talk about your experience in the different countries and what that was like?
All of that is very true. Like, got overseas. My first job was Sweden, and so I went to Sweden for my first job. And, you know,
were your colors orange? Because I feel
nervous. Nah, it was green. It was so. I remember like it's like nerve wracking waiting for that first job, and I'm an overthinker. So that first one was really bad. That whole summer, mind you, the summer leading up to it, I was in Vegas doing pre-draft and some other stuff. But I'm coming back to playing in the city of Chicago that summer, like with a vengeance, cause I'm salty about the Illinois situation a little bit. It just didn't work out as we wanted it to go.
Sure.
So I'm like, I'm trying to lock in and get ready to be a pro. So I'm on
that
business. So when I come back here, I'm in the city going to all the summer, all the programs, going through a thing. Playing with EP and them, like going through the thing.
For those that don't know the great EP, any pro-am team he putting together at that time.
Shout out EP, yeah.
Shout out EP. Trophies every time. Every single pro-am they playing, trophy.
You got me, Kiefer, you got Milton came later, but you got Al McKinney.
Alvo.
Before Al was anywhere near the Al McKinney everybody knows now. This is before that, when Al was pretty much, and that's in that light, a nobody in that light.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Al was just coming out of college like me, and hoping to get his first job. So he was on the same wave. And so it was nerve wracking, but I ended up getting to Sweden. It helped because also my best friend in college at Oregon State, Charlie Barton, my man Charles Barton, he's from Sweden. So that was a direct tie to being like, man, they was gonna give me a job over there either way. Like if I needed it or whatever. And boom, that was there for me. And so boom, got a job. It was tough. I'm coming out making, you hoping you making good money, you hearing about other people. But I made $1,200 I was making $1,200 a month my first job. And which is wouldn't sound crazy. It's okay to say you coming out of college where you making a consistent check. But now those checks in college are a little different for a lot of people, but not everybody. But it's a little different. So to come out, it's like, okay, boom, this is what you gotta do. You gotta build it up, cool. But small amount of change when you think about someone being a pro.
Exactly.
But whatever, that's the process. That's how it goes. So I go over there cooking. I do gotta talk about my personal difficulties. Too, because I'm getting there. It's a different. You got the language barrier. You got a coach who's from Greece, but everybody's pretty much speaking English for the most part. So that was helpful. But that gets butchered. That is difficult. But I'm coming out cooking, cause I'm on business. But what I did see was my first had a guy from, I think he went to IUPUI. They wasn't really feeling him because he was shorter than they thought he was. He was big.
Mm-hmm.
They was on his ass. They kind of came out of shape. So before the first game, he was gone. Job over.
They cut him.
Cut him.
And that's something I didn't mention too. A lot of guys go overseas and get cut.
No, first 2 weeks, buddy was gone. I'm like, wow, it was just eye opening. You know what I'm saying? Like, luckily I came prepared and on business. But gone. First 2 weeks, didn't get to play a game. So
I'm sure that was eye opening for you to see your first couple weeks into your first
job.
Like
we didn't get to the preseason. He was there watching the preseason game, but he was gone right after that little tournament. But he never played because they was like, we sending you home.
He didn't even play and he got cut.
They didn't play. So I'm like, damn, this shit really cutthroat. So I'm like, all right, so my first game, I don't know if you know about it. You probably heard about it now, but go preseason tournament. First game, first ever program. Cody Wilkins' dad and Naya's little sister, they come to this game. They in Sweden and they just doing some world travel. They come pull up at the game. I'm like, bad. So I'm like, damn, this kind of cold. Like,
some people I know from the state.
yeah, that ain't like no packed gym. Like it's a preseason game, so it's whatever. They just pulled up, so I'm like nervous and shit. I come out and miss like my first 2 shots. I remember telling this story to Caden too. So the coach, my big man, just kept dribbling and shit. Like, turn that bitch over. So the coach like, if you do it again, tell him to give you the fucking ball. Like, he put me to the side, like, give me the fucking ball. I said, all right. So big fella do it again. All right. Man, swing me the motherfucking ball. This motherfucker stopped. He was like 6'9", 250. This nigga damn near stops the whole play. Come charging at me. Like, he like a big dude from, this is my teammate. He like a big dude from, I forgot where he's from, but probably like damn near like Eastern European country type shit. Like, he might have been Serbian, but I just can't remember. Charging at me like, what the fuck is wrong? Like, on that with me. Like, so I'm like, oh shit.
No, I never heard the story.
Oh no, you ain't heard that part, but you heard about Cody and him.
Right.
But like, he on that, so I'm like, Cody called timeout. I'm like, he like, no, don't do that. Don't say that. I'm like, you just told me get on his ass. He thought because he was tweaking, but like, so whatever. We had to have a little talk after the game or whatever, just because that was like my second best player. So it was like, y'all gotta be on the same page. But nonetheless, missed my first 2 shots. Like, it was just, I'm like, damn. So like the nerves building and shit.
Of course.
But then I come back, I get to a midi, make that bitch. It's up. Like, I didn't miss the rest of the half. Like, had 20 that half, finished the game with 36
Tough.
and the win.
Tough.
Like, so I'm like, and for them to be able to do that and then be able to, like, damn, they saw that performance, like, really put on a show. First pro game, like, it was dope. I can't even hold you. Like, so by then, it was like, I was the talk around the country at that point, like, off the first one. So, big expectations. I'm coming from Chicago. I'm coming from a big school. Like, so it was big expectations. I held my end of the bargain, but I was top 10 and I was higher in scoring, but like top 10 in points, assists, and steals. So I'm doing a hell of a job my first year, but it gets cut short because I go partially blind. I wake up one day in the apartment. I'm just like noticing something off. I can't really pinpoint it. I'm on the bike in the fucking cold to the gym for like a workout, early morning session. And I'll get to the gym, I'm seeing double. And the rim literally was 2 of them motherfuckers.
Like, you looking at the rim and it's like this.
Yeah. Like, mind you, I go through the whole workout. I'm just like, this shit gotta wear off or something. Like, I'm thinking it's something.
Maybe I slept wrong or something.
So I'm like, this ain't even real. So a few days go by, I play a game like this. Like,
so you in the game still seeing the...
man, if I'm lying, I'm dying. Like, I'm telling you. So, like, I made it through. Got like 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm finding a way to give me a bucket. But like, I'm like, what the fuck? So then, take me to the doctor. People trying to translate for me and shit like that, and it just wasn't the same. So I play another game at like 18.
Still seeing double rings.
Still seeing double rings. Like, I
It's
had to
crazy.
play for like, no, this shit was wild. But it's like, I'm like, you know what, guy? Like, I kind of gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't hitting. Plus, my dad had cancer at the time, so it had just kind of come back too. Like, we thought it was good, then it was like, it's kind of come back. So that plus that, I'm like, I gotta go to the crib. So I ended up leaving the job, which is tough because in this business, like, you don't want to leave. Like, if you leave or stuff like that, like get cut or leave, that's a bad rep.
Exactly.
And it's not like a bad rep, so it can't be touched because people get cut and you go get picked up somewhere else, hopefully.
Right.
So it's like not unheard of, but it's like my first job. Like, I'm an undersized guy, like all the above.
You looking to move up? Like, your goal was to come here and make a name and move up?
Exactly, to get more bread, get to a better, a more competitive country. Not to say Sweden was bad, but it was
like,
cool.
you had your eyes on getting.
But yeah, we trying to get up. We trying to get to the chicken. We trying to get to all that. You know what I mean? So, so it was like a setback. So I come back home. I got to get shot to my eye because there's swelling in my eyes, so they're like, if you didn't come back when you did, you would be completely blind in the eye.
Which is crazy.
So I had to get a shot in my eye once a month for 6 months. And I'm watching the needle go in my eye, like,
cause you can't close your eye to hide.
No, man, I'm like, yeah, so it's like,
That's
it was
crazy.
wild, like, you could feel the pressure of it. Some of them hurt, some of them they numbed it good enough to where it barely just felt a pinch. Sometimes that shit hurt. I'm like, bro, this shit is wild.
That's over wild.
So that was difficult, but it ended up swelling. So right now, like, you know, there are times where I still get blurred. I still get affected by it. This eye is like spotty. But with 2 eyes, I can see perfectly fine right now. But if I do that, I close the right eye, the left is like blurred spots. So it's still not 100, I guess. But I had to leave that because of that. So that affects you. So I was out 1.5 years without a job.
Which is another, like, not an issue, but again, to your point, when it's time and you looking, like how if you looking for any job, right, and they look at your resume and at this time, it's a year plus gap. They like, well, what's he been doing? Can he still get to it? We don't know. Where is he at?
Exactly. That's just how it go. Even if, man, this guy's here be trying to get overseas. And they ain't never played pro. They 30 years old, and they can probably get over there and get to it. Like if they because they been playing here,
right?
But so they in game shape, like they can do it. But without that on your resume, it's damn near impossible. Because you could probably go cook some people, but that's not the point.
Exactly.
So the point is, like, you need that on your resume, just like a regular job, for the most part. So, mind you, that's like January. I'm out all October just working out, trying to figure stuff out.
Still dealing with the family stuff and etc.
Yes. So my dad ends up dying October 2016. This was January 16th. My dad died October. So that's a lot as is. So a part of me wanted to give it all up at that point. That was my best friend. That was my heart. That was way more family stuff involved in that I wanted to be dealing with. But so I'm just like, damn, like I need a break.
For sure.
But I can't take too. It's like, damn, if you're gonna do it, you can't be taking too long. So I'm out 1.5 years before as me fast forward to like January, February. Again, Jerome Randall, who, you know, is kind of, you know, he kind of looked out for me. You know, I was talking to this guy in Australia, this coach in Australia, about a job, and I didn't know how many times he had to Jerome's team in Australia. So Jerome was at this time, Jerome the man in Australia.
In the NBA, right?
In the NBA, he in the top, he is him over there.
Yep.
Like this is like his MVP season too, I believe. So Rome going nuts. Everybody know Rome. So he like, man, I'm gonna talk to Jerome about you. Ooh, Jerome like, yes, like you have no idea what type of player you getting. Like, he way better than this league that you know what I'm saying, he's trying to get to. Like, he needs to be in my league. So, but like I had to start somewhere. I've been out. I didn't finish my first job, and now I've been out 1.5 years. So I'm like, okay. So I get over there. That league, you know what I'm saying? I end up cooking. First game, I got like 22 in the first half.
Damn. 22 in the first half?
Yeah, going crazy. I'm out of shape, but I'm going crazy. I remember second half, I ain't having a lot of gas. I ended up having like 30, but like I was out of gas because I'm out of shape. So, but motherfuckers seeing that, they getting word. The second best league in Australia after NBL was called the Seaboard. Things like NBL 1 now. But it's called, boom. They want me over there. So for more bread and like it's a bit more competition. So I did. Like, you know what I'm saying? I had to. But like, you know, Jerome just put me in that position to, I've only played 2 games in that little league before they was like gone. After the first game, they were calling me on that. So it was like, you know, I'm thankful for Jerome, honestly, to be able to have done that for me, to just say, to be in that position and he put me up. I was in his crib on the beach. Like, he had a 3-bedroom thing on the beach. Like, so I'm in there by myself, like, cause him and his wife, he had left. It was the end of his season. So I was there for them like a few weeks, 2 weeks maybe, and then he left to go to take a job in Spain. And so I had that shit myself on the backyard is the beach, you know what I'm saying, the ocean. So it was lit. Like, just being able to just live there. And so he had the whole thing set up for me. So for, that was a good one. That's one of my favorites. But like, so I did Sweden, Australia, What was next? China.
I forgot you played in China.
Did a quick stint in China. Then Canada.
Definitely remember Canada.
Brazil. Then I finished my last go around in North Macedonia.
I definitely remember that because when you told me you was going there, I'm like, you going where, bro?
It's like 10 minutes from Greece, which sounds cooler than it actually is. But actually, Thessaloniki, Greece was dope.
Right.
When I got to hang out there.
Greece is fire.
Yeah, but then like Bitala was my city. Bitala, North Macedonia, like different.
What was it even like? Could you compare it to anything?
A small country. I can't compare it to nothing here. Like I don't even know. It's like it was like one strip was damn near the town.
Damn.
From the gym to all the stores. Like my little crib was decent, but it's just nothing to compare it to. It's like 53rd with a lot less on it. It's like 71st Street.
So we're gonna go from there. You played all around the world, clearly, at that point. You came across some other NBA players obviously international NBA players during that time. I remember I was watching our girl Vicky's story. So I'm on Instagram one day. I always tell him this story. He hate me doing it, but I always bring it up. I'm on Instagram one day. I don't know what year it was. Maybe you can help me with that.
This is gotta be 2018.
So yeah, like 2018, I'm back at the crib now myself after moving around, living in Texas, living in a couple different places. And I see Vicky and she's like, my boy, your bod is cooking. And I'm looking, I'm like, Ahmad? And he's out here with, at this time, Ricky Rubio, who was he's a well-known NBA player. Like, he's no scrub at this time. Like, Ricky Rubio was there. You can speak to
the best player on the floor was Marc Gasol.
Marc Gasol.
At least that saying she's on Marc Gasol.
And Ahmad is, as he says, going through a thing. He is hooping on them dudes, and Vicky is just commentating, making it so much crazier. Like, it's saying it's too easy.
Yeah, shout out Vicky. Commentary was crazy. Like, it was so fun. People kept talking about that stuff. So I'm like, it was fun. Like, Brandon Paul kind of plugged me. Shout out Brandon Paul again. He plugged me over in Spain because he had stayed over there a few years, and he was like, yo, he put me one of the dudes and said, come this run. I had no idea who was going to be there. Actually, I knew Ricky Rubio was going to be there. Because I remember the taxi driver, I had like said something to like the girl I was with at the time, like something like, oh, we gotta say Ricky Rubio or something. But the taxi driver heard, like, Ricky Rubio, like, so we in Spain, like, and so Ricky is him. If y'all don't know, like, since 14 years old, like, Ricky been playing with pros.
Facts.
And like he was him
in Spain for sure.
Yeah, like in Spain, like him. So he heard that name. He was, what's your name? Like the fact that I'm gonna play with him. So it's like